In the motorbike history, a legendary model was the Honda Transalp, which was born in 1986 as XL750 and was existing until 2007 when the last 650 was produced. Afterwards they produced the 700 cubic centimeter V21, but that had a smaller front wheel and that was not that real adventure bike as the previous Transalps were. But now, after several years, Honda reborn the name Transalp with the new bike, which is an absolutely proper adventure bike. The name is XL750V, so it has a bigger engine and all the knowledge of it is absolutely fitting to the original legend. Originally, Transalps always were a little bit smarter motorbikes, so not that very big adventure bikes. In the previous decades, the Africa Twin was the big adventure bike of Honda and Transalp was always the smaller brother of it. And nowadays, the silhouette and all the forms are looking absolutely the same. We have a relatively narrow fairing, a not too huge LED front lamp, and all the lines and all the silhouette of the motorbike is really looking like a small brother of the big Africa Twin, but for the first sight it's absolutely clear that this is a real off-road capable and real adventure motorbike. Sounding like a real V2. But this is not that. Of course, as we are in 2023 now, Honda is producing an inline two-cylinder OHC engine as all the other manufacturers, nearly all the other manufacturers in the world. But as it is a 270-degree crankshaft engine, the behavior of it, the sound of it and everything else is like a real V2, and also the feeling of it. So when you pull the throttle, the sound of the engine, the sound of the exhaust, the vibrations and everything else is just the same as in the case of a V2, but of course it's easier and cheaper to produce it and much easier to maintain it, so that's why it has several advantages related to a V2 engine. The main parameters are from this 750 cubic centimeter, 92 brake horsepower and 75 Nm torque, which I think is absolutely enough for these public roads that we have around us. And the reason why I said that this engine power is absolutely enough for public road is that check out that how easily, starting from second gear, I do not even reach the maximum which is allowed here in Hungary, but I'm going to ride much faster than that. 6-speed, nearly no throttle. So you don't even have to increase the rev to reach the normal speeds. If you do not want to ride all the time over 200 kilometers per hour, then you won't need a stronger motorbike than this. There is one thing what I am not absolutely agreeing with Honda, that they are saying that even at low revs it's a very smooth engine. In 6th gear now I went down to 1600 and you can see that even the RPM counter is jumping and the bike is only moving the chain and not really able to accelerate. So use the bike always above 2500 and then it's going to be very, very good. And it's also an important information that when we are riding with this 130 kilometers per hour, then the RPM counter is still absolutely under 5000, so it's some 4700 or 800. So the gear ratio is good in 6th gear. The engine is not working on a too high rev at all. Gearbox axes of the Honda motorbikes are much better than any other manufacturers in the world, and in the case of this bike this is really working well seeably, because with so much power needed, so short movements, and you can so precisely change the gears, even up with some only just releasing the throttle a little bit, and with blips gearing down. So precise and nice everything, that is really a rare thing even today's motorbikes history. And of course we have to make sure that you can buy a quick shifter to it, and then you don't even have to release the throttle, and you don't even have to give throttle beeps when gearing down. The whole suspension is absolutely on that level which is required in this category. In the front we have two telescopic forks arriving from Showa. The width is 43 mm and the travel is 200 mm, and we cannot really change any parameters of it. So, but as it is behaving, I think it is working pretty well. And in the rear we have a central suspension unit, ProLink, of course, as it is a Honda motorbike, and the rear wheels traveling length is 190 centimeters. This part is also working pretty well. The only problem is, I think, that the preload can be changed only by a tool, and I think that in this vehicle category it would be much better if we could change it without any kind of instrument, but Africa Twin has to be better, for example, in this thing. This suspension, which has no magic at all, is working on paved roads very nicely. For example, in the curves it's really absolutely calculatable, keeping the line very nice. Even when I use the brake, the standing up torque is nearly minimal, and if I have road mistakes, here I'm going to have a really big road mistake in front of me, then we can ride through of it here absolutely comfortably. This suspension a little bit among off-road conditions on this very nice and light unpaved road. It's a little bit mud, a little bit water, but this suspension is really working proper even among these conditions. Here it's very flat, so I can sit down, and as I could really switch off absolutely the traction control, I show you that how much better acceleration I have than with traction control. And also now the ABS is on also on off-road mode, so in the rear wheel it is working, but much more rare than when it is on normal street mode and some more water. So it's really the whole bike, it's a big fun factor. We have two 310 mm discs in the front with normal two-piston calipers. Luckily we do not have radial brakes, four-piston calipers and things like this, because with a 90 mm wide partially off-road tire you cannot put more force on the tarmac than this brake is able to. There is one thing that I mean two things that I don't really understand. First of all, why do we have rubber tubes in 2023? All the Chinese manufacturers can put iron ones. Honda is still using rubber. I really don't understand. It's not not an amount of money. And one more thing is just the construction, just to think about it, that the whole system is working, that the tube is coming down and there is a T element here on the front mudguard separating the left and the right side. Why didn't they put this element up here somewhere and pull down beside the telescopic forks two tubes, and then if you would like to use your Transalp as a real hard off-road motorbike and remove this low positioned mudguard, then you don't have to rebuild the whole tube system of the brake. The whole seat position is absolutely proper as an adventure and traveling motorbike. In the downer part, it's, we can say, a little bit sporty, but not uncomfortable anywhere. I have extremely long legs, but no part which is hurting at all, and to keep the fuel tank side is very good, so it's very well formed, this part of the bike, and the handlebars are always wide enough, and the height is also very good, and it's also comfortable in a standing position. If it would be my own motorbike with my very long legs, the only difference would be that I would put maybe 5 more centimeters to the 85 centimeter high seat, and then it would be more comfortable for me, and I reach the tarmac even from that seat. Of course, everybody who has shorter legs than me, this is maybe 99% of the people, this seat is absolutely proper. And as luckily I am riding on a highway, I can check out the wind protection even at the 130 kilometers per hour, which is allowed here in Hungary. I didn't wait too much, I didn't expect too much from this wind screen, because this is not too big, not too much formed, no turbulence decreasing holes on it, nothing special, and it makes its job unbelievably well. There is turbulence noise inside my helmet, but absolutely not too much, so riding 130, 150, 60 kilometers per hour all the day on a highway, I think I wouldn't even need an earplug. It is possible to buy a 7.5 centimeter higher windshield from Honda, but honestly I think I wouldn't buy that. The dashboard is a normal TFT, as we are in the 21st century, but it's very clear, so if you check the picture is very nice, very sharp, and all the parts of it, and the whole graphics is simply beautiful. And one more thing what I have to mention in the beginning, that check out the throttle response. It's really very quick, so it's not delayed at all. But let's speak about the dashboard. You can change a lot of things on it. For example, I show you, we have 4 different riding modes, sorry, all in all 5, because we have a standard riding mode, we have a rain riding mode, and everywhere you can see that how much power, how much engine brake, what kind of traction control, and what kind of ABS you are going to have while riding the bike. And we also have a gravel mode, which is for light off-road, we can say. You also have a sport mode, this is still for asphalt use. And let's go back to the user mode, where you can set up all the different parameters for you need. And also in the downer part we have 4 different information windows, and from these downer line we have 4 pages. So all in all you can check 16 different data all the time while you are riding. But this is still not enough, because let's go into the menu of the motorbike. For example, let's check the riding modes. If we go to the riding modes, you can see that how you can set up the user mode. I can set up what kind of engine power I need, how much engine brake I would like, what kind of traction control I would like, from the maximum until the 0, which is very useful when you ride off-road. And ABS you can set up to street mode and off-road mode, where the rear ABS is working not as quick as on asphalt, but you can also switch off the rear ABS if you need that while riding off-road. You can also check where the rev limiter should flash the whole dashboard, and a lot of other things. And let's pick one more thing about the displays, because you can set up different display types. That's what you saw a moment ago, but you can watch this display if you wish, you can watch this display if you wish, or even this one. And not even this is enough, because depending on what you would like, this is another one as you see, we can also, for example, change the background of the display, because you can put it, this was the metallic one what you saw, but you can change it to white or black, or automatically changing all the time. For example, personally I like the black the most, so for example this is looking like this. This is an absolutely basic Honda Transalp without any kind of extra features, but depending on how would you like to use it, you can put a lot of factory things on it. Very hard and massive down protection, so the whole engine and exhaust pipe can be protected by that. They have factory crash bars coming up high like this with LED lights on the two sides, hand protection, heated grips, and 3 boxes in the rear, depending on how would like to use. Anyhow, this is an absolutely adventure and off-road capable bike, especially with the factory equipments. I think Honda positioned the new Transalp in an absolutely good place, because it's in every technical part, price and everything else is a little bit less than the big brother, the Africa Twin, and the overall knowledge is absolutely on that place what the market is waiting from a motorbike like this now in 2023. Let's check some details. For example, in the Africa Twin the front telescopic forks are 2 mm thicker. You can change the parameters of them. In the rear suspension you can change the preload without a tool. You have 30 mm more travel in the front and in the rear suspension as well. This bike is 208 kilos, the Africa Twin is 233, the L version of it. So it's heavier but not very much heavier. So in all the details that is a bigger knowledge motorbike, but also the price difference is pretty big, because it's somewhere around 25% here in Hungary. So it's a visible, seeable amount of money what you have to add to the Transalp's price to buy an Africa Twin. And I think that the knowledge and everything else of this motorbike is much closer to that limit, but I think it's not worth to buy more motorbike for these public roads and off-road capabilities and everything else in 2023 nowadays. So if I would have to change between buying a new Africa Twin or a new Transalp, then nearly 100% I can tell you that I would choose this one. If you like the new Honda Transalp and if you liked our review about it, then please push a thumb up on the video, and if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents, and thanks a lot for your kind attention.